Hi, I'm Jeremy Ryland, and this G&M COVID update comes from Queensland's Sunshine Coast. I'm here at Local Flow in Maroochydore with Peter Howard. Peter is culinary royalty and one of our first celebrity chefs. A passionate foodie and author, Peter is also a well-known commentator on all things to do with food, wine and tourism. Peter, welcome.
Thank you so much.
How do you think, we're seeing the restrictions gradually being eased, but how do you think they're going to affect the industry long term?
I think there's going to be a pretty disastrous effect on the industry from what I can see and from what I can read about. Certainly here on the Sunshine Coast there are a lot of restaurants that aren't open and maybe will never open. But I think we'll have a massive number of people that will not open up their restaurants again, which is really sad because so many have put so much time and effort into it.
Yeah, it's not a good thing at all together. And you're passionate about good service as well. Do you think we can still give good service with all the protocols that are required?
Well, I think the service has upped, so much in the last few weeks because the service has been excellent because, let's face it, a restaurant knows how many people they can put in, how many people they can sit, they can adapt their menu, they can adapt their staff, and they know we're going to do 30 covers today at lunch, so how many people do I need? I need one plus me if I'm an owner, or two. So I think service has been absolutely excellent through this COVID time.
Many celebrity chefs, particularly overseas, Gordon Ramsay, Jamie Oliver, etc., are having issues with their empires. Do you think the time of the celebrity chef and the fancy dining is over? Totally
over, totally done. When didn't Gordon and when didn't he have problems and issues? Truly, it's just about, those days are gone. We looked at it as something that I'm doing down in Sydney, and I said, are we going to go for a celebrity chef? They said, the answer is no, celebrity chefs are not the go anymore. And I think you've seen that, but certainly in those overseas restaurants, and I don't know what's happening in America. And I certainly, I don't see even Neil Perry can't or isn't opening up, to the extent that he was with that magnificent, unbelievable empire that he has.
Yes, his has stalled, I believe, so he's sort of deciding what he's going to do with it. Do you think tourism will recover?
I think tourism will recover, but I think we're going to see it in a completely different way. What I perceive is going to happen out of this, especially the first couple of years after COVID comes out of whatever it comes out of, is that we are going to have better behaved customers. You see, the thing is that customers have been so spoilt because there have been so many restaurants. They've had so many options, so they don't book, so they just arrive and say, we're a table of 12, please sit us down. And you say, well, I can't do that. So, but that's nonsense. Of course you can. I think we're going to see a completely different behavioural pattern from our customers who, as I see it now, are so happy to be in a restaurant or in a pub or in a club or in a bar, eating and drinking and doing what we used to do pre-COVID. So I believe we will have a better behaved customer base, at least for the first year, maybe the second. And then if we keep opening up the restaurants, as we will, then maybe they'll revert to some of their bad behaviour.
Yes. Well, we've seen some bad behaviour with no-shows recently, which of course is a big issue, particularly when you've got limited dining anyhow.
Yeah.
Obviously we need to retrain some people, I guess.
Well, I've seen that, some restaurateurs now are actually asking for credit cards. You do have that example where, a guy booked a table for 10 and then nobody turned up and there was only 10 there. But the local restaurateurs here have been pretty spot on, I suppose, because they know their customers. And that's one of the benefits of what we've been going through, is, that we do know our customers and we know that they're local. Now, at this very period where we've started school holidays, that customer base is going to be different again. So, yeah, I think it will be interesting to see how it does unwind. Although I do believe that professional restaurateurs are doing extremely well, and they're sticking to their guns. A friend of mine up the coast a bit further booked for 4 and arrived with 5. Well, look, I'm very sorry, you can't do that because I've only got 10. But that's what people have been able to do in the past, and that's how we have let our customers be the tail wagging the dog. We need to completely address that issue I think customers are going to play along with this because prices are going to come down. I perceive that prices will come down because we'll have more control on what we're doing with our menus, and what we're putting on our menus. We'll have more control on staff issues, so staff costs. We'll be able to be more concerned with exactly how few we do and do not need. There's somebody's profits just gone out the drain.
It's always the way, isn't it? You're an active supporter of the industry, sponsoring culinary scholarships to young chefs and apprentices.
Sure.
What would you be saying to them in the light of the new normal?
Well, I've been saying very sorry because I've been a victim of COVID. You know, I've lost my scholarship through HTN because HTN has just gone from they are for apprentices only. On the other side of it, Jeremy, I'm working with the ACF, the Australian Culinary Federation, of which I was president in the early 90s, and we're trying to restructure and regroup, and that I think is absolutely crucial. So, like a lot of people, you know, who did their spring cleaning a little bit early, and a lot of people who got out and did their gardens, you know, ACF are looking at the way in which they can band together and make a better group for chefs in Australia. So I'm sad to hear that the Peter Howard Culinary Scholarship is certainly in abeyance. I have not heard from anybody at HTN, which is what's happening. You know, but I do, and I am aware that, you know, things are very, very tough for these group training organisations.
Yeah, it's sad, and I think you're going to see that happen a bit more. And it's not just the restaurants themselves; it's all the support systems that go behind them and whatever else. Peter, do you have any more books in the pipeline? Perhaps a COVID cookbook?
No, I do not. No, I've done 18 cookbooks and 2 textbooks and 1 novel. So I'm just sort of rewriting at the moment. But yeah, I'm loving the writing. But no more cookbooks. Sorry about that, Jeremy. Sorry about that.
All right. Well, thank you very much indeed, and we look forward to seeing what's happening in the future, I guess.
And that's all we can do. That's all we can do. Thank you, Jeremy.
Thank you.